Hey guys, it's me Caitlin, and today I thought I'd film a video that I wanted to film for a while. So this is going to be like a little bit of a longer one. I used to competitive swim. I competitive swam for about, I want to say like close to 10 years. I started when I was like 6 or 7, so yeah. I competitive swim for like a majority of my life, but last year I quit competitive swimming. I actually just quit swimming in general. Like I no longer competitive swim, and like it was a really hard decision. Like I mean, obviously, like you spend so much of your time doing one thing and then you just quit it. Like it's like it was the best thing in my life for the longest time. It was the only thing that kept me going for such a long time. It was like my safe place. And so like when you think about quitting that, like the one thing that's been a consistent thing in your life for most of your life, it's a really scary thought. I swam with 3 different teams in my life. I swam with one team, we'll call them, I guess, the Bulldogs. We'll call my second team the Witches because they were horrible. And then my third team I didn't swim with very long, but we'll just call them like Piranhas. Sure, why not? So, because I don't want to use their real names because I don't want to get sued. But when I swim competitively with the Bulldogs for so 6 years. That team was like my team. Like I love them. They were a Y team. If you don't competitive swim, Y teams are easier than USA teams. USA teams are like the teams that compete at like nationals and stuff, and Y teams are more like family friendly and stuff, where like less rigorous hours of swimming. So when I swam with the Bulldog, I swam like I want to say 5 or 6 hours a week. Like it wasn't a lot. But then I went to the Witches and I started swimming like 10 or 12 hours a week. Bulldog workouts were like 3,000 yards, and like Witches yards were like 6 or 7,000 yards. Anyway, when I swam with them, it was like a family, and like I love them a lot, and like they were just like my best friends. And like we had a lot of coaching issues where like coaches kept leaving and coming, and we had one head coach and she hated me. Like I am not the person who plays a victim. She hated me, and like she hated my mom, and like she just really did not like my mother or me. I don't know. English is not my strong suit today. I said that in every video. But she really did not like me. We were changing up the team because she was a new head coach, and she had different ideas than what the old coach had. Instead of doing like swim practices by ages, like 8 and under kids would swim from 5 to 5:45. 9-10s would swim like 5 to 6, and then 11-12s would swim like 6 to 7. I don't know, it was something like that. So they didn't want to do that kind of system anymore because it was like really putting you in your age group and not like your ability to swim. So like if an 8-year-old could do like 9-10 practice, but a 9-10 was struggling and really needed to swim with 8 and under, they couldn't do that. They would have to try and they would like force the kid to try and keep up with the other kids, and that's really demising, and I don't know. So like we went to a color system where like there was green, yellow, blue, and like at first it worked out really well. The first season with it went really well. I actually had injured my knee doing cross country that year. I had decided that like I needed to take a break because I'm a breaststroker, and I screwed up my knee, and when you breaststroke, like you know, that's a lot of knee action. But so I was a really good flyer then. So I was like, okay, I could do fly. And so we were getting ready for districts and stuff, and I had never been in a relay. And you're supposed to take the best swimmers for the relay. And so like I was super excited. I was like, this is my chance. I'm finally gonna be in a team relay. I worked my butt off this season. Another coach's kid who hadn't worked at all during the season, who was slower than me, got to swim the relay, and I didn't get to. And I was heartbroken. Like I like called my mom, I was with my mom, and I was like, I worked so hard this season to get here, and I don't get to be in the relay. What did I do wrong? And like my mom called the coach. My coach was like, oh, we just accidentally overlooked her, but we don't want to disappoint these kids. And so it obviously wasn't over. Like, I'm calling you out. Calling you out. It doesn't really matter anymore, but like at that time it really hurt me. So that was how I ended my one season, and I was like, you know what? we're gonna go back next season. I'm gonna work even harder, and like she's gonna like me. She's going to like me. I'm going to force her to like me. I was getting ready to start swimming again because we take like a month off from competitive swimming, and so like I was on my break and I was like getting ready. I was like, yes, 1 week till swimming starts. And that week before swimming starts, you would get your schedule, like, oh, if you're blue, green, yellow, whatever. And like green was like for 8 and unders, and like yellow for like 9, 10, I want to say. And then like blue was like the older kids and stuff. And so I had been in blue the year before. Like in that week, my mom got the email that said I should be in yellow with the 9, 10s at 13. And my mom was like, emailed the coach and was like, hey, I think there's a mistake because you have Caitlin here to swim with the 9, 10s and she's 13 and she's a better swimmer than that. I think you messed up. And my coach emailed her back and said, no, I didn't mess up. Caitlin really didn't look good this season and we don't want to push her too hard. And my mom emailed back, Caitlin looked amazing this season. She worked her butt off. She went into every practice. She got technique work from Ann. Are you really taking all that away from her now? My coach emailed back saying, well, I don't think it's right for her to be there. And my mom said, well, if you don't like us, then we'll just leave. And then my coach emailed saying, well, if you don't like us, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's how I left the Bulldogs. That was it. And so I started trying out new teams, and the only team I did not want to go to was the Witches, because the Bulldogs always we'd always talk trash about the Witches, because like, you know, they were the elitist team. They acted like they were just so much better than everyone, and it was ridiculous. Like the parents too. Like honestly, like no one should act like that. It's just disgusting. Speaking of disgusting. So I started trying out teams and I tried out a couple. We'll just go to the Witches. And I was angry. I was like, I don't want to go to this team. They suck. And Mom's like, you're gonna go. So the first month that I was at that team, like literally no one talked to me. I would go to practices, no one would talk to me. And my mom actually worked out a carpool because, I mean, 30 minutes is so far away. And I had to ride with people who would not talk to me. And it was great. For my first couple months, no one talked to me on the team, and I just like swam, and I hated it, and I was miserable. And they were like 2-hour practices where I had only been swimming for an hour. So like it took a while for me to get used to it, and then I was just miserable, and it was a rough time. I was not very happy. But so, as time went on, I realized that like the team was okay, and I fell in love with it, honestly. I loved the coach. All the coaches were so sweet, and like they push you hard, and that's what you need from a coach. I really started to like them. I actually started making friends. People started talking to me, and my carpool was actually like fun. As time continued, I like just kept swimming. I was enjoying it. I was living life to the fullest, you know what I'm saying? My last year of being on the team, people started hating on my coach and his wife, who's also a coach on my team. My mom was on like the parent board because there was like a board of like parents, and they were the ones who controlled the team. She like dropped off the board. She was like, Caitlin, if you want to stay with this team, go ahead. But I'm not being on the board. And I was like, honestly, leave, because like the board was just talking trash about the head coach, who had made me like into this really good swimmer, and like his wife, who also had helped me become like a great swimmer. So I decided, my mom was like, oh, if you want to stay, go ahead, but I'm pretty sure the coaches are going to leave too, and we're all going to go to a different team if you want to do that. And I said, okay, let's not swim next month and see what happens. So I was gonna finish out the month, which was February of last year, and then in March I was gonna take it off and just like practice at like the Y and just like swim on my own and have like my coach write practices for me, but like not swim with the team until we figured out like if he was gonna go to a different team. And actually the week before regionals, he sent in his resignation. So he was gone, and his wife was gone. And so we had this one coach who was a mom. Fast forward to regionals now. So this was like the second week in February. And I was swimming the mile, the 1,000, and the 100 breast and the 200 breast, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. But so I was swimming those, and I didn't do very well in the 100 breast, but I was not a 100 breaststroker. The 200 breast, I dropped a lot of time and I was happy. But I was trying to get an A time, which is like you're in the top 40% in the nation. which is pretty good for swimming. And so if you got an A time, you can start swimming open water. So I was working my butt off to get this A time, and I hadn't got it yet, but like I was so close. But I went in to swim the 1650, and like it was terrible. Like I did terrible, and I like knew I was doing terrible, and like there was nothing I could do. And like I got out and I was like, well, you know what, Caitlin, you placed because you're in 16 and up, or the open, whatever, and everyone else who's here is in the 13, 14. So if you just beat this one girl, you'll place top 8 in the 1650, and that's like a really big accomplishment. So I went in and I swam it, and I was like, I beat the girl who I needed to beat, and I was in the top 8, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get to stand on the podium, I'm gonna get a flower. It turns out they had combined the event, which is the first time they'd ever done it. So like 13 and up, which is a big age group because like it usually goes 13, 14, 15 and up. And so now that for this meet, it was 13 and up just for this event, which they had never done before and they never have done since. I didn't podium. And like, it was heartbreaking because I was so excited. I was like, I've never gotten to stand on the podium, and here I am getting ready to stand on the podium, and I didn't get to do it. And I was devastated, and I told my coach, I was like, can't you go talk to them? I like had placed really high. I was like, I placed so high in my age group. Like, can you go talk to them and be like, hey, listen, Caitlin like placed, like I don't know why it's like this, but can like we not do it like that? And she was like, yeah, I'll go talk to them. She didn't go talk to them. She just like went up and like said one word and then walked away. I was devastated. She's like, there's nothing I can do, and I was like just devastated. So like I went to the bathroom and I just sobbed my eyes out. Like I was just devastated. And like I went and I like to mom, and I was like, Mom, I never want to swim again. And like I walked out and we were waiting for someone, and I was just sitting on the counter with my head down sobbing. And like my coach walked by. You know what she said to me? She said, there are flowers if you want to take some. And I looked at her and I was just sobbing my eyes out, and like she just said that, and I was like, I'm done. Like I never want to see your face again. Yeah, that's how I left the witches, and they all blocked me on Instagram, so like shout out to you guys for that. You guys really but then I went to my third and final team where I swam for a year. Oh, I swam for the witches for 3 years. The piranhas I didn't swim with them very long. It was like a year, but it wasn't really even that much. Like I really quit in like July, but like I'm gonna count it as a year. But so like the piranhas was the nicest team I ever swam with. The practices were hard, but they weren't as hard as the witches. It wasn't so like straining on my body, and the coach was really caring, and I love that team so much. But like my heart was broken after I left the witches. They just like made me hate swimming. So in the summer, my mom's like, let's just take it off, and like took it off, and I never went back. Like there's every once in a while I'll watch one of my old events and I'm just like, I really miss this. Like I miss the feeling of standing on the block, getting ready to swim. I miss the feeling of when you first hit the water. I miss being called princess. Like everyone would cheer go princess when I like went up and stood on the block. It's just the small little things I miss. I was a very good swimmer. I worked my butt off for the years that I swam in it. I was a hard worker. I had many injuries from swimming that can wait for another video. One day I'll tell you all the injuries of swimming. It was my passion. Then some people ruined it for me, and they made me hate it, and you shouldn't let people do it. I let them do it. I let them get to me, and that's on me. It's partially my fault. I shouldn't have let them like hurt me so badly where I couldn't focus on swimming anymore. That's my story on why I quit competitive swimming. But if you like this video, give this a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Follow me on all my social media. I will see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Bye.